Hello, you hear a word come out of my face, hello? Hello, can I get a 5x5? No. No, you cannot. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dana. I'm Bear from the internet, coming to you live from the Refuge headquarters, Spiro, Oklahoma. It's the 26th of February, 2025. We're gonna talk about things and stuff. It's We All Gonna Die Wednesday, so of course we would discuss things and stuff. Welcome to all the noobs at the channel, the new patrons as well. Appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed and you want to be, ring the little bell icon, hit the subscribe button, blah, blah, blah. If you don't want to be, okay, that's cool too, but then, like, why do you watch but you're not subscribed? That's retarded. Show's brought to you by the creator of the universe, by this little company here behind me, Refuge Medical, and of course the wonderful people of Patreon. Recent naval maneuvers by China in the waters between Australia and New Zealand may not have technically broken international law. What's that sound in the background? That's a sewing machine. Why is your audio so bad? Because I don't care, and I'm not a professional content creator. And they're going to keep sewing because that's their job and they're good at it because we make stuff in America. May not have technically broken international law, but the move raised concern among Western powers in the South Pacific. Chinese warships conducted unusual live-fire exercises in international waters beneath busy commercial flights, forcing flights to divert from their courses at the last minute. The Chinese vessels gave just a couple hours notice rather than the customary 12 to 24 hours before conducting live fire exercises, showing a calculated disregard for established protocols. Australian and New Zealand officials were notably restrained in their public responses, though, maybe because of the heavy economic dependence on China. The Australian and International Pilots Association Vice President Captain Steve Cornell said Riley, "It's a big bit of ocean, and you would think that they could have parked somewhere less inconvenient whilst they flexed their muscles," end quote. What happened here? China's like, oh, we have so many boats. People Liberation Army Navy, so big, I have so many boats. We kill so many Americans. Yeah, they have their Navy's the biggest Navy in the world. They have over 1,000 ships, most of which are literally fishing vessels with machine guns on them. Okay, not saying that's not nothing, but that's not like, they're not big gray steel ships with, Sea Whiz, and they're launching F-18s off of them, and and the helicopters can land on them. No, they're like little fishy boats with machine guns. Do they have actual warships as well? Yes. Should we be overly concerned? I don't think so. Should we be underly concerned and underestimate our enemy? Nah, probably not either. Tofu, dregs, and Chinesium. Salty Grandpa Joe. That's exactly correct. Tofu, dregs, and Chinesium. Here's the other thing. Did they buy them from Temu? From Shine? Like, oh, best I make a warship for you. Kill so many enemy. All bad guys dead. If you can order it off of the internet from China, it's probably shit, right? Like, we all know this in today's throwaway world. You buy some Chinese thing for $5 3 or 4 times instead of spending $15 for something made in America that you don't have to throw out ever, right? You know what I mean? So, like, are they building their warships to the same standard that they build everything else? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm, believe it or not a Chinese spy. Eric Swalwell is, though. Very interesting things happening with him here lately, if you've been on the X machine. So China's flexing their muscle outside of Australia and New Zealand, and Australia, Oz, and New Zealand are not really pushing back because China is their largest trade partner. So that's the crux of the issue. There's a little bit of flex of Chinese muscle in the Pacific Ocean, and Australia and New Zealand can't really do anything about it. I believe 25%, don't quote me on this because I'm just pulling it from memory, I believe 25% of Australia's GDP is directly tied to China. So that's a big deal. And I also believe, although it's grossly underreported, that globally we are in a recession, and very few people have very much money. And so for Australia to risk 25% of their gross domestic product, their annual revenue, because they said bad words to China, that, see, I can make an argument on the other side of that, where it's be like, hey, China, if you want us to continue doing business with you, stop parking your Tourniquet not a warship off of our coast. We don't appreciate that. And then what would China do? They'd bluster and they'd maneuver, and see, because China's economy's in the gutter as well. So can China really lose? You know what I mean? Can they really lose? Bear, I think we're already in a soft depression. Tracy, I don't think it's soft. I think it's an actual depression. I think the numbers have been messed with. I think all the numbers have been messed with. Well, where did the numbers come from? The government. Do we trust them? No. Do we believe them? Are they believable? Are they a reliable witness? No. I mean, look at inflation. Look at the value of the money. Look at workforce engagement. There was a report that came out that during the Biden presidency, 88% of jobs, 88% of jobs. Don't even start with me with low volume, JW. Turn your earbuds up or we're going to fight out there in the parking lot. 88% of jobs during the Biden administration went to non-citizens, illegals and people on visas. 88%. And that was a four-year, air quote, presidency, right? So I would call that a recession. Everybody likes to talk about the price of eggs. Look at the cost of eggs. Well, it's because it's an indicator. But yeah, everything's up. Workforce engagement is down. Value of the dollar's down. It's a recession. We're in a recession. And I said on Monday, I believe Trump will lose the support of his constituency, and pretty quickly, if we don't start to see a whole of government focus on restoration of the economy. Now, somebody left a comment on Monday, and I agree. They said, Bear, the economy isn't as fast as your drum rolls are. Be patient. I get that. But here's the thing. How can one be patient when they're bleeding to death? And we are bleeding to death economically. Okay, there's all the indicators. Age of an empire, 250 years. Well, we're here. The pendulum swinging, the fourth turning. Yeah, we're there too. There's a lot of different external and internal forces here that's saying that, hey, the time is now, okay? The time is now. So do I think the economy can just like a light switch be turned back on again? No. But I think if it's not prioritized soon, we won't have the opportunity to recover from it. Is that intentional? Is Trump a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't know, okay? But for all the, you know what, we're here. We'll come back to the written brief in a moment. But for all of the promises made, promises kept, are you tired of winning yet? Just rhetoric that you see on X and other social media. I'll tell you this. You want to talk about losing your mandate? Kash Patel said 5 days ago, on day one, he would release the Epstein files. Still don't have them. Allegedly, they're sitting on Attorney General Pam Bondi's desk and have been. Still not released. Pam Bondi, not a good person, making all kinds of comments about infringements on the Second Amendment. She was not a good pick for Trump in the first place. If those files, unredacted, aren't released ASAP, this whole MAGA movement, at least on X, those people are going to lose their shit. And Trump's going to lose credibility. As he should, because they all said that they would. Hasn't happened yet. Where's the JFK files? Where's the MLK files? Where's the Area 51 files? They told us they were going to tell us about the drones. Remember the drones all over the eastern seaboard and elsewhere around all kinds of military bases inland as well? And then the report that we got on the drones was, don't worry, they're American equipment and they're authorized to be there doing what they do. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Okay? That's not an explanation. We said we'd have an explanation day one. the Ukraine war would be ended within the first 24 hours. Now, we're going to talk about that here in the brief if we ever get to that. But all these things that were, day one, hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of people saying it's coming March 4th. March 4th is a very significant date. Maybe, if you're one of those 17th letter conspiracy theorists, maybe. But every day, for example, that they don't release the Epstein files is the day they lose credibility. Every day that Anthony Fauci is not tried for crimes against humanity, they lose. Has anybody even talked about Fauci? They lose credibility every day on this. Why is that guy not being tried by a jury of his peers, aka you and me? All right, you and me. There's a lot of chatter right now saying that people need to be bracing for Civil War 2.0. I'm not leaning in either direction on that. Possible, yes. Plausible, I don't know. And one of the reasons I don't know is because if the USAID funding that was being taken out of your paycheck, sent to the federal government, and then being used to pay all of these agitators and these media outlets, if that funding's not coming through, how does the opposition bankroll their efforts? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe they come out of their own pockets for once. We'll see. But I don't know if the left wing, and by the way, the channel's called Bear Independent, okay? So I'm not right wing or left wing. I'm kind of right down the center, honestly. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a biblical literalist. I'm a constitutional literalist. And I think a lot of how people choose to live their life is just retarded and unfruitful and makes no sense at all. And I also think they have every right as an American to be retarded and conduct their life in a way that makes no sense at all, as long as they're not actually infringing upon anybody else. I'm a free speech absolutist. Like, you should be able to say whatever the hell you want to say on any platform, in any forum, and that's fine. But I don't see the left wing having the groundswell, the grassroots that it had 4 and 8 years ago, because it's not being funded currently. And that can change. Again, it takes time to ramp that up, right? And the right wing, you see all these Republican wussies, I'll use nice words, try and use nice words today, scrambling to MAGA because it gives them operational cover when they're the same pieces of garbage that have voted on every bill that has fleeced us of our taxpayer dollars and oppressed our liberties for my entire life. And now all of a sudden, because it's popular, they're acting like, yes, let's make America great again. Dude, you've been in the government longer than I've been alive, and now all of a sudden you want to make America great again? Shut the fuck up. So the Republicans are not good people either. And I think that's part of why, and the Epstein files. Why not Epstein files? Because Epstein, and I've been saying this for years, and it's now just starting to trickle out there into the mainstream. I've been saying this for years because Epstein was compromising people for a foreign government. Which foreign government? Quiet parts out loud. Research AIPAC, American Israeli Political Action Committee. They own 90%, 90% of our air quote elected representatives. Yep. So how do they get them to vote? The stick and the carrot. You can make some money off this deal, or we can expose your pedophilic escapades to the entire world. You pick. Who is good, Bear? The creator of the universe and his son, by whose blood we can be saved. Even Messiah says, why do you call me good? None is good but Elohim. Yeah, read the Gospels, okay? That's good. That's good. I'm not even good in the flesh. I have the opportunity to be good in the spirit, but like, Come on. Are there degrees to good and bad? Yeah. Yeah, you could argue sin is sin, 100%, but there's a difference between sin and abominations. For if you've stumbled in one portion of the law, you've stumbled in all, says James. And he's accurate. Comma, I think the degree to which the air quote elected officials and our air quote elected representatives have been bad is egregious, because their badness, their unrighteousness has affected millions, if not billions of people, whereas your badness, probably only my badness, probably only affects one person or a handful of people. So, anyway, if these files aren't released like ASAP, this administration, which I was reluctantly rooting for early on. I loved Inauguration Day. Didn't want to, but I was like, yeah, maybe we're here. I love the speed at which things have been happening. But I'll tell you, I don't, Kristi Noem was like, we just fired the 100, what was it? There were leakers inside of her organization. We fired them. No, arrest them and try them. And Tulsi Gabbard, you've got over 100 intel personnel that are using government time and government infrastructure to talk about all types of abominations, just the worst things you could possibly imagine. On government time, using government infrastructure, they've been relieved of their duties. No, they should be arrested, and we should know their names, and they should stand trial. And if they're found guilty, whatever punishment is rendered by the judge, they should be subject to. I don't want people just simply removed from position. We want justice. And ASAP. ASAP. Like, as soon as possible. Okay, so there's 100 intel analysts, 100 intel officers that are engaged in this stuff. No, the answer is probably thousands. And who have they been compromised for? Who have compromised by? Who have they been passing information to? This whole government thing is a facade, and it's full of holes like Swiss cheese. Like, these people, and I got thrown off of X for saying this, and it's federal law. Traitors should be hung after they've been tried by a jury of their peers. Traitors should be hung. That's federal law. And that speech is protected by the First Amendment. And there's an executive order under this 47th President of the United States of America ensuring free speech across all platforms. So just so we're all on the same page here. So if these Epstein files don't come out ASAP, if they don't actually arrest the ICE immigration people who are leaking information about where the raids are going to take place, these intel analysts that are talking about abominations, just abusing children in the worst possible ways while being on the clock for the government, using government infrastructure, if these people don't start swinging from ropes after being tried by a jury of their peers and convicted in a court of law, I'm not saying vigilante justice, I'm saying go through due process. They have a right to due process. But if this shit doesn't start happening immediately, you've lost credibility with me because you said that it would. And how many people does this administration have to lose credibility with before you have a potential Civil War 2.0, which there's a lot of chatter about. Quiet right now, but there's a kind of a, it's almost as if the narrative is being tested right now. Civil War 2.0. This thing's going to break up. Balkanization. It's going to get ugly. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. The CIA did. Yeah, the CIA did it. Who did they work for? And Nick, that's a good point. Leftists can fight. We tend to think of, blue-hairs can't fight, says Nick. Well, I disagree with you now, Nick. We tend to think of Antifa and the blue hairs, and it's no big deal. The far left has been quietly arming themselves and training for years. And don't think for a moment that there aren't highly qualified, highly trained former United States government property individuals out there that don't lean left. There's many of them. They're training. And many of the center right are not. They're not training. They just say, I got an AR-15 and a chest rig and I'm good to go. No, dude, we had a sample pouch sent in from a different supplier just to check the quality to see if maybe this was something we wanted to onboard. And the little tabs to retain the MOLLE webbing, with it, you see all kinds of kit companies are doing this now, where it's just hold on, I'll explain it to you. A picture says 1,000 words. Wait one moment. Yas? You okay? Cool. All right, check it out. So this is a Tasmanian tiger pouch, and this is no knock against Taz, because the whole industry is moving to this, okay? But I want to illustrate why this is bad. See these little MOLLE retention tabs here? And there's a point to this, so just hang with me. See these little MOLLE retention tabs here? Watch this. See that? This is how they're now retaining the MOLLE Pals webbing. See this little thing right here? This is just a bunch of doubled over material that's been stitched to make a tab. And then you insert this tab underneath of here, and that's what's supposed to keep it attached to your kit. Okay? Now here's the problem with this. Here's the problem with this. And the whole industry is moving in this direction. You can't IMT for 100 yards without this falling off. Okay? Individual movement technique. And no, I'm not a cool guy. I never served. I have some cool friends that I train with, and some of them make me IMT, and I hate it. Okay? Everybody hates it. But it's good for you. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. All right? But look, you're not going to make it 100 yards of up, down. Because look, watch this. See that? Watch this. And then watch this. Where'd my first aid kit go? Where'd my mag pouch go? Where's my canteen? And so not only are you without your stuff, you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs behind you if you're patrolling in end times or whatever. Or somebody going, oh, I found an IFAC. I found here's a canteen. I found a mag pouch. I found this. I found that. Okay? My point is, here's my point. There are so many people. No, this is not made in China. This is made in Vietnam. Vietnam, where my uncles went and killed a whole bunch of people back in the day. Yeah. James Morris, United States Marine Corps, Sergeant Major. Look it up. Love that guy. Right there. Made in Vietnam. Okay? And, again, this is not a knock on Taz. This is actually a fairly well-made, a pretty well-made product. And stuff that comes out of Vietnam tends to be well-made. But here's the issue. There are so many people buying stuff but not training that they will buy this thinking it's perfectly fine without knowing it's just a matter of time before this happens and your kit falls off of you. If the whole industry is shifting in this direction, because this is cheap, this is cost effective, this is easy, fast, okay? If the whole industry is moving in this direction, that's an indicator that the people who are buying stuff aren't training. That's my point. So having your plate carrier, your chest rig, or your war belt, or whatever that you don't use, that you don't train with, doesn't matter. And so if there's Civil War 2.0, when you go and grab your kit, it's not just having the stuff doesn't matter if you don't know how to use it, okay? They have crab guards, Connor, for your tires to push the crabs out of the way? No way, Connor. No. Meanwhile, drone warfare between Russia and Ukraine is escalating. On the third anniversary of Russia's invasion, Moscow launched 185 attack drones into Ukraine in a single night, following a record-breaking storm of 260 drones the previous evening. Ukraine's counterstrike targeted strategic infrastructure inside Russia, which technically you're not supposed to do, but nobody's cared for the last 3 years of this special military operation in Ukraine. Ukraine's counterstrike targeted strategic infrastructure inside Russia, including one of Russia's 5 largest oil refineries that can process 17.1 million tons of oil annually. Andriy Kovalenko, head of Counter-Disinformation Center for Ukraine's National Security Council and Defense Council, counter-disinformation, which means his job's disinformation, just with a different spin. Okay, cool. He wrote, quote, "It produces gasoline, diesel fuel, aviation kerosene, fuel oil, and petrochemicals, like New Jersey. Aviation fuel plays a special role, which is critically important for the frontline aviation of the Russian Army and strategic long-range aviation, which strikes Ukraine. This is the third attack on the plant since the beginning of the year, this year, 2025, which is what, we're like 7 weeks in, 8 weeks in, end quote. The diplomatic landscape has shifted as well. Recent talks between U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Saudi Arabia suggest a potential peace deal is being considered, notably without Ukrainian representation and possibly requiring territorial or mineral concessions from the country of Ukraine. Listen, we, the United States, fomented this revolution in Ukraine, starting in 2014, the whole Crimea thing. Russia lost their naval ports, which was a big deal. Then we did a coup d'etat, the Central Intelligence Agency, and installed Vladimir Zelensky, which leads to, well, what are the allegiances, the affiliations of the Central Intelligence Agency, and whom within the agency, and then why? Because hundreds of billions of dollars have been sent to Ukraine, and they've been laundered through Ukraine back to elected representatives, air quote elected representatives here in the United States of America, and hundreds of billions of dollars of consumables, missiles and bullets and artillery and everything else have been sent over there so that, let's be frank, patriotic, breeding-age men in both Ukraine and Russia can be killed off in a war of demographics. Why? Because there's freaking petrochemicals there and minerals underneath the ground. War's a game of resources. And so now the question is, who's going to get the resources? We talked about this 3 years ago, February 24th, 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine with 104 battalion tactical groups, BTGs. Yeah, we've been talking about this for 3 years. And to what end? Because a cabal of satanic pedophiles somewhere decided we can get trillions, if not quadrillions of dollars out of this deal? Yeah, America! Okay. Exactly, Nick. Life is so cheap to this world. I agree. And that there's been talk of we'll send our sons and daughters over there. No, thank you. I'm not interested in that. It's not a righteous war. And it was sold to us as, if we don't stop the Russians in Ukraine, then they'll take all of Europe. And they could launch nukes on the United States of America. They could. Will they? I don't think so. Low probability in my mind that that happens. Now, make no mistake, the Russians aren't good people either. Right? Everybody's like, Putin is an Orthodox Christian and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that doesn't mean he's a good person. Oh, by the way, the Pope might be dead. You guys been hearing that? I know the Pope and Orthodoxy are like oil and water, but apparently the Pope might be dead, and they're trying to keep it hidden from the world because they don't know who's going to replace him, and apparently he was a scumbag. Yeah, no shit. So we'll see what happens with that. Rubio has touted, quote, the incredible opportunities that exist to partner with the Russians geopolitically on issues of common interest and, frankly, economically. Okay, now we're going to partner with the Russians. Now, on the one hand, maybe we'll get some cheap steel-cased ammo again. You know, the tariffs will drop off. That could be interesting. On the other hand, do you even one world government, bro? That's a little weird because remember BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, South America, and 28 other nations? Okay. No, Sparky, it is not. Our Passover and Sukkot are for our congregation only. Vetted individuals that we know because of the work that we do with Caleb House. People, we do really bad with walk-ons. Because of the work that we do with Caleb House, counter trafficking. It just is what it is. Just is what it is. As always, these global maneuvers serve as a stark reminder of why preparedness matters. International conflicts have real consequences that can ripple through our economy, affect fuel prices, disrupt supply chains, and potentially lead to further military entanglements. Military strategists understand that controlling key resources and transportation routes is fundamental to power projection, and China's increasing naval activities and Russia's territorial aggression are two examples of nations positioning themselves for resource competition. Competition which makes waves across the lives of ordinary civilians like you and I in multiple ways. So, shipping interruptions will probably continue. Supply chain is weird, has been weird since 2019-ish. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better anytime soon, especially as things are continue to be near-shored or on-shored from a manufacturing standpoint, which I'm all for. I'm all for American manufacturing. You can hear the sound of it in the background right there on the other side of this black curtain is the sew shop. There's still lots and lots and lots of stuff that is made overseas. I mean, I just showed you. Again, no knock on Taz. I mean, Taz is this is an Australian company. So they manufacture in Vietnam because Vietnam's closer to them than America is. Makes perfect sense. And these are not bad quality pouches. This is dumb. That's dumb. Okay? Like that little retention tab is dumb. My opinion. But it's not a knock on Taz. But my point is, making things overseas and then shipping them half a world away is getting harder and harder and harder and harder. We need more things made here. We need to support companies that make things here. To that point, I wanted to show you guys something. Several of y'all asked me about this. This is the Tier 1 Quality Solutions Met TQ. Never opened it. It came like this in the bag. This was $63.50 or something shipped. Okay? So I wanted to do this with you guys on camera. Hey Mike, are you doing something? Mike.
No, he's coming.
I mean, the answer should be yes. We're at work. You should be doing something. Pull a chair up. Grab that chair. I figured you and I could go through this together.
All right.
Come here. And so you guys are going to ask questions. Rick asked, you're going to ask questions like, that's so cool, Bear. Do you guys have that at the store? No, this is the first time. This maybe later, maybe. So this is the Military Emergency Tourniquet made by TQS, Tier 1 Quality Solutions, made in the USA, Chesapeake, Virginia. So it says Tier 1, Chesapeake, Virginia. My guess is some kind of Navy SEALs are involved with this. I don't know that, but that's my guess. So that's the instructions there. You ever put a tourniquet on before?
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Me too. So we're gonna assess this thing in real time. This is the pouch that it comes with, and it has, let's see, you can mount it horizontally or vertically on a belt or webbing, so that's cool. It has a little handle right here with a snap, not a tab. That's good. got Velcro here. That's good. And in there is a tourniquet. You want to look at the pouch? What do you think about that?
Simple but effective.
Yep. Flat cut, probably laser cut. 500D. Standard hook and loop. Good webbing. Not, you can tell the webbing right here is always an indicator. Now look at the stitching. There's a little, they were in a hurry. That's okay. That's okay. Will it work? Yes, they bar tacked the shit out of that. But the density of the webbing, you can always tell if they're cheaping out by the density of the webbing. I'll give you an example. Look, there's 2 different webbings on the back of this. This is your standard run-of-the-mill coarse grain Chinese webbing. This is seatbelt webbing. See the difference? If you're looking, see the difference in how coarse it is? The coarser it is, the cheaper it is. The coarser it is, the less tensile strength and longevity it's gonna have, okay? So look at the webbing, it matters. And this is just flat cut 500D. Not a problem. This right here on the edge, you might get some fraying on that over time. That's why we put a seam or a binding. That's what I'm looking for. We bind those things. Okay, but that's the pouch. Cool. And this is the thing. Have you ever seen one of these before?
Negative.
Me either. Okay, so this is a legit first impression. We got 1 black rubber band, 2 black rubber bands, and then this thing. There's a big old windlass. Okay, so I've never used this before, so I'm just gonna throw it on, see what happens. I think I have it backwards already. Okay, let's see. Okay, what am I doing wrong?
It's just like the other one. It doesn't pull towards the cork, or
I don't know. If I twist this, what happens? Step 1, over and pull tab up and away from tourniquet base, working the strap up and down, most until the tourniquet base and windlass slides snug up against the limb. Step 3, rotate windlass until bleeding has stopped. Step 4, secure windlass by pulling the fixed securing loop over the closest end of the windlass. This is not, this ain't it, Chief. Okay. Now, I think I could make this work if I had to apply this to you.
Yep.
Pull securing loop, friction. I can't get the windlass into this securing loop right there. Okay. You want to check my radial pulse?
I feel it.
I mean, it's on. Look at the veins in the back of my hand.
It's just start right there. In the hand.
Yeah. You like that?
That's sexy.
You think you can run a line on me with that? Tell me you've worked with your hands most of your life without telling me you've worked with your hands most of your life. Oof. Yeah. Well, I wonder if drumming has something to do with it too. Probably. Increased vascularity. Okay, then this tab is supposed to go through here to retain this, right? And then you pull that tight. So it definitely works. I mean, look at the color of my hand, right? It definitely works. But as far as being expedient, I don't know. Get that shit off of me.
It's probably one of those things where you gotta practice with it.
Definitely. You definitely got to practice with it. And to be fair, I've got thousands of reps with the cat and the soft T, and this is neither of those. All right, so, I also want to be perfectly clear. I am a proponent of there being 100 different tourniquets on the market that are all wonderful. I wish we had tons of wonderful tourniquets, not just a handful. And what's interesting to me is that this is sewn. This is sewn multicam webbing, 1.5 inch webbing, and then it's got basically like grip tape on the back. Big old aluminum windlass that's wrapped with loop on either end for retention. You're welcome, Rick S. And okay, so here, do it.
You gotta kind of ratchet it like the.
I think so, yeah. So you get it to there. It says to ratchet it down. Step 1, put it over your injured extremity. You did that.
Yep.
Step 2, pull tab up and away from the tourniquet base, working the strap in and up and down motion until the tourniquet base and windlass slide snug against the limb. Step 3, rotate windlass until the bleeding has stopped.
I did this backwards.
So I felt like I did it backwards too. Let's try. Ratchet it. Okay.
What goes that? Unless you just do that. Whoops.
Maybe. How many hands are you using right now?
2.
Okay. Okay.
But then again, I might have it on backwards too. I don't know. I'm trying to see what the orientation is.
Well, it looks like looking at directions, it looks like the tab goes towards your center line. Yeah, you got it correct.
Okay.
It's supposed to go towards your center line.
Is it supposed to go back over, or is it supposed to keep going towards the
Shit, buddy, I don't know.
This is interesting.
It is interesting.
So how are you supposed to?
Okay, so you get that thing tight. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
Also, I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. No practice.
Here's the old pocket soft tee from my back pocket while you're doing that. Ratchet it down, and see when you pull that down, it's holding. It's already starting to compress. Turn the windlass, get the windlass in the C clip right here,
I'm already dead.
and then get the triangle over the windlass if you can. Try and do it on camera rather than just do it. Just do it, Bear. Okay. There we go. So that's a soft tee on. That's what I'm. No, it's supposed to go in this loop here.
Okay, that's good.
So the issue, I think, is all the bulk of this webbing right here. I'm not saying it wouldn't work,
I just
but
also note. I mean, I see what they did there.
okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as tight as if I was using a CAD or a soft key, but I know I have a pulse.
Yeah, you have a faint pulse. Yep. No, you have a strong pulse.
And it's on. I mean,
So,
yeah.
you ever been a medic?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. You ever served this country in a uniform?
Once upon a time.
Were you a paramedic for multiple decades after that?
Yes, sir.
Have you put tourniquets on people?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. So this is not like, you're not just some chump.
No.
Is my point. Okay, cool. All right, so there's that. That's the soft tee. And then let me go ahead and take my own personal soft tee off and just slap a cat on, just for comparison's sake. Cat Gen 7, this tourniquet has been used in training, I don't know, hundreds of times. And here we go with the cat. Are we ready? Mark time. Oh, I got that. I got that on good. There it is. Cat.
Done.
Done. Ow. Ow. I got that one on good. Okay. He's not a chump, but he does have a great haircut. True, Jennifer. He's also not single, so simmer down, okay? No tingling in the bits, all right? You okay, Mike?
I'm good.
You're good? All right.
My wife will kill me when I get home.
Your wife's not gonna kill you. She loves you so much. She knows you're a catch.
Right.
All right.
This has an NSN number and everything.
Yeah, and I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think it's a bad product. I just don't think it's refined. I'd love to see what a Gen 2 looks like from them.
I'd like to see them putting it on themselves in case we were doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's true too. I've watched no demos on it, done no research on it. Rick was just like, you should get one and try it. So I did. Rick, you owe me $63.57.
All right, boss.
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, sir.
So that's the what is this? The military emergency tourniquet from Tier 1 Quality Solutions, Chesapeake, Virginia. TQSresponse.com. TQSresponse.com. So, and they have good instructions. That's what it looks like. And again, I want to be perfectly clear. I would love it if there were 100 different options on the market of awesome tourniquets that we could all, kind of like vehicles, right? It's like, well, I like Ford, I like Chevy, I like Toyota, I like what? Okay, cool, man. Whatever you're into. This is just not. It's not as refined of a product as it could be. That being said, one of the things I like about it is I like the methodology of construction. This is all sewn. And that's cool. As a guy who has a sew shop, that's inspiring. That's cool. Versus the if you look at the soft tee, this is mostly sewn, but you've got some bits and bobs on here. Metal thing, buckle. It's not worth my time or money. Quintress, I don't think so yet. It does have an NSN number. It has a national stock number. So that means somebody, well, it doesn't mean that somebody's using it, but it means they're hoping for somebody to use it. And so for, a soft tee is, $30-ish, $32, same thing as a cat. And I know those tourniquets work. I have used those tourniquets. I train with those tourniquets. They work. So. And the footprint, man, that's why the soft tee is not as expedient as the cat, but it's so tiny. It's so tiny compared to everything else. I mean, this is the same size as an ETQ wide, so dig it. All right, so there, we did that for Rick. Cool. Lauren, you got anything you want to tell the people while we're here? Is there anything going on? It is Wednesday. Come over here if you want to talk to them, or anybody else. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say to the people.
About like what we have going on here?
Yeah, Refuge. I don't know, personal stuff. Whatever's going on in your personal life. Here, pull up a chair.
Oh.
Pull up a chair. You don't have to tell them personal stuff. I'm being facetious.
Oh no, I was just gonna tell you guys I finally started getting eggs from my chickens again.
Woo, up top.
So it was like, I held it up in the air and gave like a victory battle cry over this egg.
Have you gotten your garden in yet?
I started some seeds. We have to expand the garden this year, but Lauren's kind of busy. So I'm gonna try and dedicate Fridays and Sundays to doing that. Mm-hmm. But I started some herbs and some lettuce and stuff like that, some herbs. Brett actually blessed me with a bunch of stuff to make wicking tubs.
Awesome.
Like the tubs and the perforated tubing, so I'm gonna almost double the size of my garden that I have now.
That's awesome.
Year. So that's pretty cool.
Super.
As far as like refuge stuff, you have.
Hold on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Me and my wife planted trees yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to give a huge shout out to the people who bought Caleb House a skid steer mounted post hole auger. Because I might have borrowed it for about an hour yesterday afternoon to plant trees with, and it was amazing. Way better than digging in the clay.
We could use that to put the gate up.
Yep, yes, that's the plan. But it was awesome. And
H sound in herbs.
Herbs.
Herb.
It's a het in Hebrew. C-H-E-T.
It's a little guttural.
Herbs. But my wife bought 28 bare root trees.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So thus the.
Can you imagine digging 28
Yes,
For that?
I've done it before, and it's terrible. So
Not borrowed, trained
trained
on.
on. I
like
was just
that.
making
That
sure
was
that it worked. So that was cool.
Badger, hi.
Hi, Badge.
Tell Mrs. Badger I said hi.
Okay.
Okay, anyways, as far as stuff here in this building, we're at Wednesday. You have approximately like 3 days, less than 3 days, to get the free Blue Cat Gen 7 and the Rescue Me tool with any order over $2.99. So if you've been wanting to get some like freebie stuff, it's a good time to do it. And our Refuge Ruckus is coming up really, really fast, and training right now is 20% off, and we have a Refuge Responder right after the Ruckus. So pretty much a life-changing, both of those things are amazing. I mean, the Ruckus is amazing. I know for those who have been last year, it was awesome. It's going to be even better this year. There's more vendors. We have lots of great speakers, amazing musician coming, and the Peanut Butter Tug of War. And then we're going to have training after. So if you've been wanting to take training, it's a really good time to do that because it's 20% off right now.
What team are you on?
I just like peanut butter. So I will eat the peanut butter sandwich no matter what, but probably leaning more towards crunchy.
Okay, that's
So-
an acceptable answer.
Yeah. All right, bye guys.
You're a peanut butter pacifist. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Peanut butter pacifist. That should be a shirt for those people who didn't pick
That's
this up.
funny. We should actually probably do that. Oh, links to all the things in the description. Shall we pray? Yes, we shall. Yes, we shall. Oh, good morning, Father Yahweh. Father, thank you for all the things that we take for granted. Thank you for your miraculous provision and protection and blessing. Thank you that we have always gotten everything we need and most of what we want, and that your timing is perfect and divine, and that you are never short on resources and you are never late. Father, I pray that you'd keep these people protected today, that you would create opportunities for them to walk in your ways by the blood of Messiah, to be your hands and feet, to be the light, to witness and to minister and to heal and to speak truth and love, and to serve and to comfort and to lift up and to bring joy out into the world today. Father, I pray that you make your face shine upon us, that we could conduct ourselves in a way that makes you smile. Father, I ask that you would just keep us protected, that no weapon would formed against us, that it would prosper, Father, and that if there's anything within the sound of my voice, within me, that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, Yah, be with my brothers and sisters today. Please meet everybody's needs, and please continue to allow us to serve you. Father, thank you for the redeeming blood of Messiah, and for giving us a pattern to walk in, and for making a way for us to come home again. We love you, and we thank you in Yeshua's name. Amen. I'll see y'all when I see you. Shalom.